Hey everyone, Aesop's here. Today I want to tell you why I just spent $5,000 on RebelBots and why I think RebelBots could still go up 2 to 3x in the next 2 months, okay? Let's get into it, guys. Okay, the first thing I want to show you guys is some early screenshots of what the gameplay is going to actually look like in RebelBots so you can get an idea. First of all, right here, we have an example of what the land gameplay is going to look like. This is very familiar look and feel to a lot of mobile games I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with. You got your player information on the top left, resources top right, matchmaking bottom right, and then your base in the center here. Here's another example of what the loading screen looks like when you're loading into a match. You see that you have 3 fighter bots here, and we're going to get into more information about them later, versus the enemy team's 3 fighter bots. Again, your information up here, and then your resources in the top right. Here's an example of the kingdom screen in RebelBots, which I think is going to be one of the biggest features that they have in this game that's really making me bullish on it. So let's get into what's here in this picture. So as you guys can see here, we have Iron Shield. That's the name of this kingdom. It is ruled by whoever is ruled by. There's 25 out of 30 players in this kingdom. You see the player information of the different players in the kingdom right below that. What you see up here on the top right is this resource. They have 999,000 of that. You can see the trophies for this kingdom. You can also see the ranking position and then this kingdom card. We'll talk more about all of this later. You can see here what people are doing in the kingdom is actually voting on which kingdom card they want to represent them. These different kingdom cards are going to have different abilities. They're going to either do like damage, healing, all these different things. And the kingdom is actually going to pick this card that'll be added to your deck before the start of every battle. The last thing here I want to show you guys is the Kingdom Treasury. As you can see here, there's some of this resource that's ready to be claimed. Okay, so let's talk about the Kingdom Lords here. This is what's making me really bullish, is this unique feature in RebelBots. Kingdom Lords are the first 10,000 NFTs that they minted. These are currently available on OpenSea right here. The Kingdom Lords, depending on the rarity, actually get different perks. So for example, as you guys can see here, the number of lands in the kingdom. So if you're one of the more rare Kingdom Lords, you can actually have more land in your kingdom, which I think is an awesome feature. And you get a revenue share from the land that is sold. So when the land is sold originally and on the secondary market, you get a revenue share from that sale price, which is awesome. So if you have a very common Kingdom Lord, you're only going to get 1% of that. But if you have a very rare one, you're going to get 50% of the value of the land sold on your kingdom, which I think is just awesome. The next thing that I think is really awesome about kingdoms is that for every resource produced in the adventure gameplay, the Kingdom Lord is going to get 4% of that resource, and the actual Kingdom Treasury is going to get 6%. Now, that Kingdom Treasury actually gets distributed to the top players within that kingdom at the end of the competitive season. So it's a way to reward those top players within your kingdom, as well as get some revenue yourself for being the Kingdom Lord, which I think is a very unique and awesome idea to have in the game. All right, let's talk a little bit about the kingdom land that's within every single kingdom that we talked about earlier. Kingdom land is how all the players are actually going to experience the game. So in each of the land, as we showed you guys earlier, there's a couple different buildings. Basically, it comes down to the idea that you're going to be able to store resources. You're going to be able to build new fighter bots. You're going to be able to upgrade those fighter bots through your land. Now, this land sale is actually going to be starting next month in April, and there's going to be 150,000 land plots for sale. With each land plot, you're going to be getting 3 fighter bots. You're going to get a full team to be able to start playing the game right off the bat when you buy a land. Now with the land, it's also going to be extremely affordable right off the bat. We've talked about land being about $50 to $100, which is a very reasonable price point for land since you need it to start the game. Now, once all the land is sold, that's when they start generation 2 of land and of RebelBots, as you guys can see right here they're talking about. Basically what this means for landholders, or mainly Kingdom Lords, and what's awesome here is that you're going to start with that little bit of land in your kingdom, but that's actually going to grow. So as you can see here with generation 1, you're actually only going to start with 150,000 total land. But as soon as generation 2 comes out, then generation 1 is going to get even more land, and then generation 2 gets land. When generation 3 comes out, then generation 1, generation 2, and generation 3 get land. So as you guys can see here, this ends up compounding the total land available pretty quick, and it provides a lot more value in the future to these original Kingdom Lords, which is another great utility. They also allude to here that if you're not using your land, and let's say you buy 10 plots of land, that you could actually rent it out. So I'm interested to see if they end up having an integrated rental system like what Paybaxy had, or if it's going to be more of a create a wallet, create an account, and then rent them out, kind of like Axie. We'll have to see exactly what this looks like when the game actually launches in June. Okay, so those of you who are familiar with Axie Infinity, you're going to be understanding this basic idea of different body parts for the fighter bots. Very similar to Axie, where you have different body parts for your Axies. Here you have different body parts for your fighters. we scroll down, you can also see we have different classes, which I think is awesome because it adds a little bit of specialization, kind of like how we're familiar with plants being tanks, beasts being damage dealers, that kind of a concept. Also similar to Axie and some of these other games, this is a card-based game. So you guys can see here we have different cards, and we also have different rarities of cards, which I think is another awesome element and just another layer of progression that's possible in the game. You'll start out with your commons and work your way up to the legendary cards. So I think that's a really awesome way to add progression in this game. One other thing I do want to point out here really quickly is this leaderboard system. So similar to Axie, you're going to have an MMR system, but you're actually going to have different ranking badges, which I think is a really cool way just to flex your rank and add another fun element to the game, which is something I'm excited for. I know in other games I've strived to try and hit things like Diamond and stuff like that that are in other games. So I think this will be cool. Instead of just hitting a 2000 MMR number, you could hit Platinum. So I think that would be a cool way to look at things. Okay, as far as the partners and backers, this is actually one of the things that has pumped this project recently and seen the token price go up a lot, which I'll show you guys here in just a second. But we have Ubisoft, we have Overwolf, and we actually hop over to their Twitter account. You guys can also see that recently they started a partnership with Animoca Brands. When we look at price, it's definitely already started to run a lot. Okay, I got into one of the earlier rounds, so I got very fortunate there. I got quite a bit of token at about 10 cents a piece, which was back around here when the token launched. We were hovering around those prices. Wish I picked up a lot more when we were 10 to 15 cents, because right now we're at about $1.75. So it has gone up a lot since I got in initially. I actually bought quite a bit more of the token at about the $2 price point. Again, wish I bought it cheaper, of course, who doesn't? But the reason for that is that this market cap is very small, especially when we start comparing this to other projects. When we hop over here, we can actually look. I've saved quite a few of different metaverse play to earn game projects in here. Axie is obviously the giant up here at a $5 billion market cap, but as we scroll down my list, even Bomb Crypto, which has had a really rough time recently, Guild of Guardians, Crypto Raiders, everything is a lot higher market cap than RebelBots. And given the fact that we have the land sale for RebelBots coming up next month and then the game launch, I could definitely see the market cap going up to a $30 million market cap pretty easily, especially with the kind of quality that they're producing. Okay, so right here I decided to map out the token unlocks and put my expected market cap on the different price points at different times. Fair disclaimer here, this is somebody in their basement talking about $1,000 JPEGs, okay? This is not at all financial advice. Do your own research. This is my crazy expectation. So take it with a strong grain of salt and do your own research on this. This is my expectations. Right now we have a circulating supply of about 6 million, and I expect the market cap right now should be closer to about the 20 million price point, again because of the backers, because of the progress they've made, some of the screenshots they've showed of what the gameplay is going to look like, some of those kind of things. That would put the token price about a 330 token price. I think the big opportunity here is going to be April and May. The reason for that is that's going to be before we hit a major unlock time. So here in June, we actually dilute the tokens a lot. So we go from 9.6 million to circulating supply to 36.8 million circulating supply. So circulating supply goes up a lot from May to June. That's why personally, I'm probably going to sell off a decent amount of my tokens in May and then buy back in after June happens. Because I do believe that the token price is going to drop significantly. Could be wrong on that though. So I'm really bullish looking at April and May when we have land sale, these kind of things going on, where we could see this token price go up a lot with a market cap move, where I expect personally to see about a $5 token price. That's why I bought in at the $2 price. If you guys found this video helpful or information at all, please check out my other videos. I would greatly appreciate it, and also would appreciate if you wouldn't mind smashing the like button down below. I'll catch you all in the next one.